without taking up too much more time, one thing I just want to touch on is the fact that I noticed that back in the 70s and 80s when Peanut King and everybody you roll with, the violence happened because it had to happen. Like you say, y'all were about money first, violence second. Um, can we? Is there anything that Peanut King could say to the young people to make them realize? Like I said, you lived a good life when you were a Peanut King. You were a celebrity. You were the celebrity in Baltimore. So you had the money, you had the cars, you had the women, you had everything. You had everything that everybody from the hood inspired to have. And but like you say, over the years, it's went from having the money and the fun to now I just want to be feared. And when I said that to you, is that no, you were feared. I mean, you weren't just respected because you had money. I mean, niggas knew not to fuck with Peanut King because you knew what would come out of it if you fuck with this you or anybody in your circle. Um, how do you now get that respect back to the game, or is that respect to the game to make money first completely gone?
Explain that again.
So what I mean by is that y'all were about getting money. Y'all were about getting money, feeding your family, taking care of whoever you
Yeah,
had to take care of. And the violence only happened because something happened. Somebody
the
disrespected something,
situations.
or it was something happened. But with now, as you said, the young generation, they're more about violence first. Because I want to be feared first, and if the money comes, the money comes. Will we ever get to a point where people really care about making money and taking care of the community again?
I mean, that's what we're working on in terms of building these programs and trying to get out to the community and try to help as much as I can. And hopefully, this show could do something to
Absolutely.
let somebody else know in terms of a youngster
Hmm.
that if there's anything that I could do personally that could assist, you mean, and in a positive way,
Right.
you mean that I would. I mean, you don't have to do the shooting to get respected. You mean you wind up doing 37 or a life bit, and I think I was very fortunate to be able to get out after 37 years. This is a blessing to be here to be able to speak.
I salute you. If you could say something right now to someone watching this and they think I'm smarter than the law, Peanut King, he got locked up because he was dumb, and they think that they're above the law.
That was
You
me.
that was you. That was you. You thought that nobody gonna catch me. I'm too smart. I'm too fair. There's somebody watching right now that's like Peanut King, man. He owe him what we talk about. If you could say something to save them right now, what would Peanut King say?
I mean, I understand that the money there, the glamour there, and everything else is there, but there are other ways to get there, and it's hard to take you away from that.
Hmm.
While you in the mix of doing whatever you're doing, it's hard to break loose and get another passion. I mean, it's pretty it's just as bad as getting away from a drug addiction or being an alcoholic and stop or smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes and stop. It's pretty tough to go through. But if you wanted to win and try to be, just get out at this. If you just get out and try to, because you can do it the right way.
Hmm.
There are other ways to get things done, and you don't have to spend 37 years in prison. You mean to try to get back out and have the opportunity so you could sit down and probably wind up trying to help somebody else so they wouldn't do the 37 years.
Right. I salute you once again, Peanut King. Maurice Peanut King, as we called you in East Baltimore to worldwide. And I hope somebody watching this is inspired to, I don't want to say learn from your mistakes, but they learn from what you went through that you can potentially save somebody. I remember Jay Z said in one of his
If
raps.
you can learn from my mistakes, it's good. But a lot of times, a lot of us coming up is trial and error.
Hmm.
You mean the best thing you can do is learn from others.
Right.
So if you can learn from my mistakes or others' mistakes, that's the best thing you can do. Because with trial and error, you die here.
Hmm. Hopefully you save somebody's life with this interview, man. That's my goal was to, of course, get your story out there. But more importantly, make sure that somebody right now that's doing selling drugs and murders or whatever, the extortion, whatever they're doing, they know that um, anybody can be touched.
No doubt
Anybody.
about it.
Anybody can be touched at any given time. I'll tell you, but I don't care how many guns you got. Somebody else got a gun too. And now I'll tell you, it ain't about how many guns you got. It's who grabbed the gun first. So because you're tough, don't mean you can't be touched. And because you think you're smart, I mean, them feds won't catch up with you, and you potentially can be doing 40, 50 years in prison. So I'm hoping somebody watches this and they says, damn, if Peanut King really lived that life, you ain't a rapper. As we know, a lot of these rappers, they rap about shit that it ain't
Yeah,
real.
I got a lot of friends in prison that got life and never getting out,
Right.
and I mean it's painful to not be able to help them, and I guess they was the best of the best of whatever they done,
Mhm.
but at this point, I mean they stuck in a situation and they got just as much time in as I have, and don't have no daylight.
If you could say something to one of them watching, because I mean, we watch this in prisons as well. These type of interviews. If one of them are watching and they're like, you can kind of give them some hope because it's hard to. I always say when you go to prison, if you have a release date, it's almost like I know one day I potentially can come
No
home.
matter what.
No matter what, it
Yes.
might be 50 years, but
Yes.
when the judge say, "All right, Peanut King, you're in jail for X amount of years," at least you heard the years. Versus, I mean, a lot of my friends and family that I came up with, life in prison without the chance of parole. Period. I don't give how many pills you put in, you ain't come home. What does Peanut King say to them that I'm not coming home, but I need to still have a reason to live and keep fighting?
I mean, hopefully by me being here, that they can get hope in that situation because that's what I'm here for in part, is to try to get back to people that's really in those situations.
Got you. Is there anything else that you want the public to know that you're a part of and that you're really trying to promote now that you are a free man that's changed his life? Like I said, you have a lot of the people who were politicians or police sergeants or people like that from the 70s and 80s that they never want to see a Peanut King clean. They don't want to see you king. They don't want to see you turn over a new leaf and helping out the youth because in their mind, I arrested this guy. This guy was a drug dealer, murder, whatever they want to accuse you of. What could you say to potentially have them knowing that don't let my past dictate my future?
I mean, my past wouldn't dictate my future because I could actually easily go another way, but hopefully they can see through time and my work that I'm for rebuilding the city
Not you.
and doing the best I can do in mankind actually. So I got people in other towns and all of us getting together from city to city,
Mhm.
and we all trying to put together some of the same stuff to try to make it like nationwide.
Are you ever fearful that some of the stuff in your past can come back now?
I ain't got too many fears.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I mean, I paid my debt already, but
Mhm.
I paid for everything. I think I'm paid in full. But if there's something else in the past that it got to be dealt with, then I guess you got to deal with that.
Not just to get a one-on-one with yourself, but I'm from Baltimore, born and raised, and I'm hoping that I can do whatever I can to bring light on situations so we can save somebody's life, and that's what I'm hoping. Somebody who watched this, you save their life from either prison or jail, or murder, or getting murdered. I always say, unfortunately, don't let anybody tell you the drug game normally leads to death or prison.
There's no doubt about it.
Period. And I know every drug dealer thinks that I ain't gonna be the one to get killed, and I ain't gonna be the one to get locked up.
I don't think that's the case neither.
You think people just don't care?
I mean, at the end, I knew something was going. Either I'm going to get killed or I'm going to. going to prison for sure.
But you didn't
But
fear that at all. At that
no,
point.
no, no.
Yeah. Well, I salute you, man. Once again, thank you so much for sitting
But it's a
down.
blessing to be able to go through it and be on the other side of it.
Gotcha. And now that you're on the other side, the goal is to rebuild the city that Peanut King, I don't want to say destroyed, but rebuild the city that Peanut King, because some people might blame you. They
Yeah,
blame the
I
reason
would
why.
say I said it before. Like it ain't what I wanted that was bad. It was the way I went about getting what I wanted.
Mhm.
So I went in a different direction, but what I wanted was real. And what I wanted was to help my family, rebuild the community, and do the best I could. That was from the beginning, but I just did it the other way.
The
Back,
money, you think the money and the greed is why you went the other way?
no, I think opportunity. It's like before the '80s, before '89, like the country was shifted a different way before '89,
Hmm.
and After '89, I guess the United States became a world power, and it changed the shift to open up into the world. But before then, the '60s was a lot of it was like separation instead of integration. We went through a lot of stuff with civil rights, and there's a lot of things that led up to things happening. The '60s was pretty nasty for us as a people.